Alrighty, everybody. Last time we had a retail vet. This time we have somebody very, very near and dear to my heart. Somebody who is just as crazy, but much more low key. Ladies and gentlemen, Mariah Is.
Hello, everybody.
So you and I have conversations all the time and talk about all manner of debauchery and bullshit.
Absolutely. I mean, with your former workplace and my current one, and just shit that's going on in life in general, we usually have a lot to talk about. Yep.
So just to clarify, both like I used to work the night shift at a gas station, and she currently works the night shift at a place of business. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, station and night shift. So
So with the night shift, you see some shit, to put it lightly. But I wanted to bring you on because there are there was a handful of things I wanted to talk about, but one of them had to have been one of the wildest arcs in your life, and it was your high school career. Not anything educational or like academic related, but the fact that the school basically imploded within itself. So I wanted to touch on that first before we move on to anything else. And before we start talking about just debauched stories from our night shifts. Let's start. Do you remember when at least you as a student knew that shit wasn't like going well?
Well, school buses pulled up and there was a building, and right in front of that building there was about like 2 rows of maybe like, I don't know, like 10 trailers, like all together. It was just a whole bunch of trailers in front of the building that was supposed to be the school. And I've going to school my whole life now. Never ever have I seen a school that ran half of its classes in fucking trailers. So that was one thing. I got off the bus and I saw a couple of degenerates that were from my middle school, and that again was another like red flag. Like, maybe, I mean, don't get me wrong, these degenerates were some of my best friends, so that was fine. I mean, they were good friends in school. I didn't really like associate with many people outside of school, so I didn't have any heads up that they were going to be here. But it was
school was your social circle, basically.
Exactly. So it was great seeing them again, but then it was more like, if you got in, then sheesh, we're in for a wild ride. So
were these the kinds of kids who were more concerned with seeing a teacher cry than seeing a good grade?
Absolutely. These were some of the people that 6th grade year, like, we're on house arrest. You know what I mean? So
you were lying when you said degenerate. God damn.
That's what I'm saying. So there was, it had its really smart kids, and then they had us. So I don't understand what made it, charter.
They just needed bodies and seats to make money.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and this was freshman year.
Yeah, freshman year we didn't.
Wait, what was the wait? Hold up. So looking back? What was the deal with the? Looking back, what was the deal with the trailers? Did they just oversell the amount of kids that they could take?
Yeah, so what happened with the trailers was they were planning on making another building, and this building was literally it was identical on the outside of the building that was already erected. So that's where they kind of put us. It was kind of like our holding cell until we were ready to go, to the big house. And so that's what that was. That's where we were for
Just to
the whole
reiterate
year.
for our listeners, she's talking about a charter high school, not a prison.
Yep. High school, but some of their tactics, I don't know. I remember in ISS they used to make us do manual labor, so we would have to one of the things was when the computer lab upstairs was being built, we literally had to lug a whole bunch of fat back computers, monitors and shit like that up flights of stairs to
Is that legal?
That's what I'm saying. Legal? So you call it a school, I call it something else. But
oh god, call it the
ISS was something
school
else.
to prison pipeline.
Yeah, all the chairs were just knocked over, and it was in this small, very very small room. The first ISS, because they had every year they tried something new because shit just wasn't working. And so the first ISS, the very first ISS when I went to when I was in freshman year, because I went every single year, of course. So the first one was in a trailer, and the dude that was there, I remember his name. I'll call him Mr. T. I don't think he was an actual teacher, and then he got a teaching job the next year. And we'll go on about the teachers after that. But it was basically just a trailer, and the back wall had computers all across the wall, and you would just go in there and play. What was that game that you would basically jump? It was like a platform. You just jump, and bounce off the walls. And then if you comboed enough, you would turn into this colorful rainbow, and it'll just do super jumps and shit. I'll find it. But
Bit Trip Runner.
Yeah, that it was close to.
I actually have something like that on Steam. You can play it next time you come over and hang.
Yeah, so it was that and there was basically no discipline. It wasn't a punishment, so people would go there, regularly.
They would act up to go hang, yeah.
Exactly, because you didn't do shit. Mr. T was hella cool. He didn't care. He was a young guy. He didn't care. So that was ISS freshman year.
And he was the disciplinary agent? Oh my god.
Yeah. They didn't actually have one necessarily. They just had teachers kind of, take turns every year. But after that, they moved. Once the building got built, there was this really, really small room in there. And like I said, all the desks and chairs were just very disheveled and turned over and shit like that. And we weren't allowed to go to lunch. So they had a fucking loaf of bread, a peanut butter, a jelly, and a knife in each one, a plastic knife. And so, you got 2 slices of bread, and you know what to do with it. But if you were smart, you know what I mean? If you were there for a while, when they would come around and give you it, what you would do is you would put half jelly, half peanut butter on the same slice, fold it over, boom, now you have 2 sandwiches, So I
mean, not really, but
it tasted, honestly, because when the bread is folded over like that, it feels much bigger than what it is.
Right. It's as much of a psychological trick.
Dude, it'll let you last. You'll be looking at other people. You could savor it a little longer, there was people that would make their sandwich and then be done, and I'm working on my second one here, So yeah, and then after that they started calling it ICU, and you're basically in a room and you had to face a wall, and the clock was behind you, and you just hear it click, tick, 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 and try to basically drive you crazy. And that was all of them that I remember. So I'm probably 3 for 4 unless they kept 2 for a year. But yeah, it was, that was my ISS. Yeah, so the trailers were out there. Once we got a building up, we moved in to the building. The teachers there, not many of the teachers were actually certified teachers. We are students, we learned that. later on, because it was a business and finance school. And so what they would do is they would hire business people. So people who have like flourished in, the business field, and, or, done something, have, a good little repertoire, whatever. And, they would have them come and teach us basically. But here's the thing, you can excel in, in a bank or something like that. But if you can't teach me how to do it, then, what's the point? So that was like a big thing that we had to deal with as students, was like sometimes it felt like teachers weren't able to teach us. Like we weren't able to get that information out. Don't get me wrong, you have your honor students that would be able to ace the fucking class if they just had the textbook. Like they don't even need the teacher. But for us regular folks, it was kind of it was frustrating to say the least. But that was some of the teachers, and we had our fun with a lot of the teachers and messing with them and making them quit and everything like that. So it was a lot of fun. I will say that much. Absolutely.
So, oh god. So now let's get into the teachers.
Okay.
Because there's a lot there, and I have a lot to comment on, but this is not going to be a 2.5-hour rant with Evan Haggard. This is the High Soapbox featuring today's guest, Mariah Is. So let me just move on to the next question, so I don't end up just...
Yeah.
All right. So, best teachers. All right, let's start with your best teacher, like the teachers that were actually competent and gave a shit despite the horrible environment.
Best teachers. Okay, so there was this English teacher that I had. And she was, I don't remember her name. And she got married, so that changed up, and we were very, very upset when we found out that she was leaving. She was awesome. She was a young teacher. She understood that we're high school students, so there's going to be days where we get shit done, and then there's going to be days where like our brains are mush and we don't want to do anything but do nothing, so she was very balanced, to say the least, with that. And I actually enjoyed her class. That was the year that the fucking what's it called, the Salem witch trials and stuff like that. Like that's the year that you learn that shit and read that whole fucking play and stuff like that. So like I said, I enjoyed it. It was cool. So she definitely goes on the top of my teacher. She was I believe she was either a freshman teacher or a sophomore, either one of those two. But she was also awesome. Also, there was this one teacher. I don't remember her name either. She was a very heavy set teacher. And it was a medical thing. But she was the nicest teacher ever. She was a social studies teacher, and she was just so nice and soft spoken. And it was just like the shit that they would like do and like all that stuff. Like even as a high schooler, like I knew like, yo, that's fucked up, because she doesn't do anything to anybody. Like she's just a fucking sweetheart. And especially since it was like a medical thing, like she can't help it, So right. I remember one of the things they did, they like ordered like a whole bunch of pizzas or something, and like had it like delivered to her room or something like that. Something like fucking stupid. So she actually won a teaching award, and was like on a billboard somewhere in Delaware. So she was awesome, and I enjoyed having her as a teacher. She was pretty cool.
All right, that's enough positive shit. Let's get to the degenerates.
Yeah.
All right, let's start at the least. Let's start the least worst to the most worst. Let's start with the least worst.
All right. Least worst, I guess we had somebody who was like sleeping with students. I mean, I don't know where you want to rank that at, but
All right, male or female?
it was a male teacher.
Oh God, that makes it so much worse. Fuck.
Yeah, honestly, he was a young
Oh,
dude. He was a young dude. That's the thing about this school. They had a lot of very young teachers, and I mean like straight
yeah,
out of UD. You know.
yeah, it's probably because the only place they could get jobs in Delaware.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
How
So
how many how like you? Let's be real. You knew girl. You were sitting next to girls that weren't doing dick in class and were only passing because they were getting dick after class.
I mean, I don't want to put too much information out there, just in case you're able to people are able to find it. But this isn't one of those classes that was necessary for that. You know what I mean?
So these bitches signed the fuck up for it.
You show up and ace it type class. You know?
Oh
So
man.
that
So these bitches weren't struggling. They were just like,
yeah.
I was like,
no, there was no way you were
Mr.
struggling. No
Hey,
way.
Mr. Hawthorne.
Yeah, no way in hell you're struggling.
Oh God.
So he automatically makes that list, you know, just
Yeah,
off
just
the back of, you know.
yeah, just because he's
Yeah. One of the most hard ass teachers was this teacher.
Was she wait, there's a different wait, let's be frank. Hard ass teacher doesn't necessarily mean a bad teacher.
And no. She her teaching tactics, because she was such a hard ass. She
made you not want to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't know if she was a good teacher or not, because
you didn't want to learn out of spite.
Yeah, if you
didn't want to learn out of
the
spite.
wrong way, she's yelling at you type thing. You know what I mean? And she had a reputation, and she lived off of it. She knew that at this point it wasn't going to change, so I might as well be what they say I'm going to be, or what they say I am, or I don't get paid enough to give a fuck about what.
Wait, and this teacher was just out of UD, right? One of those fresh out of UD teachers, right?
She had to be probably 32. So
you
know what I mean?
But so that you know what that means? That means she couldn't cut it at a normal school, so she had to come to a shitty startup.
Sounds about right. But yeah, she actually lasted all the way to the end, I believe, and that's more than most teachers could say. So she goes up there, and then the other one would have to be my Chinese teachers. And those all right. So I get to the school, and they're like, you can pick between two languages to learn, right? Spanish and Chinese. Right. And I'm like, well, I've been taking Spanish ever since, elementary school. That's boring. I still don't know that shit. So
yeah.
let me be
You were in for a rude awakening, weren't you?
Yeah, let me be fancy and do Chinese. And so
how quickly do you regret that decision?
Jeez, I get in the class, and like I said, our freshman year we didn't have a senior class yet. We only had juniors. That's how new the school was. We didn't have any seniors yet. So there were some sophomores, there were some juniors, and a good amount of freshmen in there too. So we had it all in there. And our first teacher was Ling Lao Shi. No, Wang Lao Shi. Okay, that was the first one. And the language.
Oh my God! Hold on, pause. Okay, was this woman older woman, long black hair, dressed in a long sleeve shirt thing that almost came down to the ground?
No. Wang Laoshi had short hair, and her ass for some reason decided to go to
Okay, so all right.
What's the state with the tomatoes? Oklahoma. Right.
I got. Okay. Yeah. Just, aside from the Oklahoma bit, I was so concerned for a second because we had a long lash at my school. I was a Spanish student, but I digged her because most of my friends were into Chinese, so I hung out there too. So I was making 100% sure. Oh, thank
this
God.
one last
Oh, thank God.
is out there like in a twister somewhere right now. And so
Hurricane.
yeah. And so we get there, and she like segregated our classroom in a way. Mind you, we already most of the people in there were students of color, right? But there were 3 kids who weren't. One, we became really good friends. The dude, the one chick, she was white and Asian, but you couldn't really tell. Like you could tell in her eyes just a little bit. They were actually it was very odd. They were very wide, and then at the very end, it just came to a point. So it was
You had to see she was Asian. You had to squint.
Yeah, or she would tell you. You know, like I wouldn't have thought it at all.
So are you just going to completely bypass my pun there?
I heard you, the squint thing. Ha ha ha. Okay, that was funny. Okay?
All right, fine. I'll stop being funny.
My
Talk.
validation. Jeez.
Oh my God! All right, continue. So she's like segregating the class and like
and then
by color coordination.
Exactly. By shade tone. Okay, and we had this test. We came in. Like I said, she wasn't a good teacher. But I think it was like the language barrier. And one day there was this lady sitting in the back at her desk while she was in the front teaching, and she had this test, and she actually separated and put them like in a different area, and everybody else was basically, in their same spots. And so, none of us, know Chinese at that point, and we're going on, and some of us are like trying to, cheat a bit. And basically the bitch in the back that was sitting at her seat was basically snitching to her in Chinese about like what was going on, right? Instead of minding her fucking business.
Oh
right?
My God!
Yeah. So then, come to find out, we all
and this isn't even the worst teacher. Oh my God!
Nope. We get our test back. Everybody fucking fails as usual, and then probably like a couple of weeks later, she tells us that she's going to fucking Oklahoma, right? And so we're just like, okay.
Good.
New teacher comes in. It's the same bitch who was sitting back there, like at the table, that was snitching on us. So basically, she was shadowing that day, and like I said, boom, she walks in, and it's her, right? So we're now everybody's by this time of the year
dumbstruck.
Comfortable. Yeah, everybody's comfortable. We all know each other. We all have our roles established. We have the class clowns. We have which was basically almost everybody in that class because of how it was. And so one day I woke up and I was about to go to the bus stop and I was getting ready, and for some odd reason I opened up my top drawer in my kitchen area, and the junk drawer where there's just like half used batteries and like all
like,
that
like three wine bottle openers.
Yeah. And so there was
super
glue.
I grew up white as fuck, didn't I? God damn it.
Yeah. And depressing wine bottle openers. 3 of
them. My family drinks wine. I don't know why. My mom does, at least.
Yeah, so I see some.
Well, not my mom. Not my mom. Like my family has like a stupid amount of wine sitting on like a little bar that they serve when people come over. Mm-hmm. Like it's. I
still think 3 is unnecessary. I still think 3 is unnecessary. It's overkill.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just there are times where my mom was like opening a bottle and then she puts it down somewhere, and then one of her friends asks where the wine bottle opener is, and then we'll just get another one from the drawer.
At that point, it sounds like they've already had enough and they don't need. If you're putting shit down, you don't remember, and other people are asking, and you're all just like going around, it's like, oh, where is that? Oh, let's get it. Like, I think that's enough, you guys.
I'm sorry, Mom. I love you.
Yeah, me too. I love you too, but we're worried about you. We're concerned.
That's just fun. Oh my God! Fuck it, continue. God damn it! Go, jump door. Fuck.
This is what happens when you cut me off. I sever.
I know.
Okay.
I know. God damn it.
Damn it. So I get the Gorilla Glue, I put it in my pocket, and I go to school. I don't have any like ideas of what I'm gonna do with it or anything, but you know, I take it with me. Mind you, like I said, this is my freshman year. I get to Chinese class, and every day she drinks tea out of this coffee to go cup, like, you know, the metal ones, like
It's
the
Irish,
thermal.
isn't it?
Huh? No, this is a Chinese teacher. So she's drinking tea, and she just puts it in a coffee mug, basically. And
Right.
so this was on a long class period, so it was over lunch. So we, you know, come in and then we go to lunch and we'll come back. And so before we went to lunch, I, for some reason, at first we were going to like switch out her fucking keyboard keys and like just put them in, arrange them in like different fucking ways, and you know, just fuck up with that. And then with the super glue, I was gonna do something like super obvious, just like super glue like the fucking stapler to the wall or something, like something she'd fucking like notice. And so what I settled on was her teacup and the phone to the phone base, right? Because you know they
Right.
have the cord phone, and just gluing it to itself, basically. And so I got this one dude who was usually very loud, and you know, just you know, just always doing something. I got him and the other classmates to kind of distract her. And so he, like I said, he's not subtle at all. He just stands up and he's just like, Ling Lao Shi, like just doing shit, right? Whatever. Buys me time. I
He's
glue
special, yeah.
the tea, I glue the coffee mug to the table, and I glue the phone to the base. And that's that. So we go to lunch.
Evil.
You know, this is right before lunch. We go to lunch. We come back, and everybody, by then, word has gotten around that that's what's going on in the classroom. And so everybody's coming in, and you know, we got some people snickering. We got like everybody's just sitting there, like sitting to attention. You know, like she'd never had us so calm, so prepared. You know, to continue the lesson. So she comes in and she's still talking and stuff, and we're waiting for her to like go and pick up that fucking tea, that coffee mug. And she goes to
No
do it, and
snitching,
she puts her hand
motherfuckers.
on it. Huh? So we she goes to pick it up, and she can't. And then she tries it again, and everybody just starts laughing, just like bawling, laughing, breaking out, just all this stuff. So at that point she knows like something is up, you know, we did something. And usually when a teacher has a problem, they would go and they press the intercom button that was on the wall, and they would call in, you know, some type of like supervisor or somebody. But this bitch today, she decided to go to her phone and call up somebody. So she walks over to her phone, picks up the phone, and the whole fucking thing comes up with it. And at that point, we lose our shit. We're rolling on the floor, we're screaming, laughing. It's just like the funny, like it couldn't have worked out any fucking better. So of course she goes to the intercom, she calls in somebody, and they come in, and she starts threatening us, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna call your parents, blah blah blah. At that point, I wasn't afraid of like the parents part. I was afraid that somebody was gonna snitch, because she was like, you know, tell me who it was, blah blah blah. And I wasn't afraid of like, you know, the students of color, you know, saying anything. I was
You afraid of the white kids?
Yeah, about what they were gonna say, or if they were gonna say anything. Now at this time, I already told you that one of the dudes I became really good friends with, but it wasn't in that class just yet. So he was really chill, but I just didn't know it at that point. And then these other two girls, so she's like, give me your parents' numbers, blah blah blah. She's dumb as hell. Everybody gives her a fake number, but the thing is, like, you have our parents' number like in your record, so like whatever.
This is just a scare tactic.
Yeah, it was a scare tactic. Didn't work. Everybody gave fake numbers, and nobody snitched, thankfully. Then another class ended up taking her. She had one of those little egg timers, and they ended up setting the timer and putting it in the fucking ceiling tile. And so when it finally went off, it's just like started going off in the ceiling, and she couldn't figure out like what the fuck was going on. So like everybody kind of like like messed with that class. And other classes, you know, we had teachers that installed their own fucking cameras in the room so that they can like try to scare the kids or like see what's actually going on. So no teacher was necessarily safe. But not everybody got, you know, the royal treatment like she did or
teachers
some
had
of
their
the other
favorite.
ones. Yeah, like, well, we had a favorite. Like, if you didn't give us a hard time,
Yeah.
you know, you were safe. You know, if you came here and did what you got paid to do and only what you got paid to do, don't go above and beyond because you don't get paid enough for that shit. Okay, like do what they're paying you for and get the fuck out of it. You know.
Yeah.
So
So you
that was
pause for a
basically it.
second. Pause for a second.
Yeah.
I need to take out my headphones and figure out what the problem was.
All right.
Is that better?
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna be like all choppy and stuff.
Yeah, well, you were coming in choppy on my end, unfortunately. But I don't think
bummer.
that was... Yeah, is what it is, but I don't think it's going to affect the recording at all. But c'est la vie. Moving on. As you were saying, I hate to interrupt.
You say you hate what?
Mariah?
No, I can't really hear you that much. All right, say something now.
Yeah. Hold up. I'm just going to dip out of here. There. How's that?
All right, we're good.
Wonderful. Gotta love podcasting on a budget, huh?
Yep.
Shit happens. Moving on. As you were saying, continue your story.
Yeah, so that was basically the some of the stuff. Like I said, there's the school basically was a sham. They had funding that they were supposed to, I think it was like $5 million, and they couldn't stay on budget. And so they lost their charter, but they were threatening it for years, you know, until it finally happened. Like my senior year, they started is when they started firing like the teachers, right? And this was like the worst time because, you know, we're seniors, you know, trying to graduate, and the teachers are showing up not giving a fuck and knowing that, you know, their days are numbered. And so
It's chaos.
yeah, absolutely. We had teachers threatening to fail the whole senior class if they didn't pass like one of the required thingies. So like it's just like bullshit like that, you know. We had some good teachers. I remember this teacher, Mr. C. He used to give me the key to the teachers lounge because this was my senior year, and it was around the time where, you know, they started like, oh, let's put healthy shit in the food in the schools and everything. Before that, we used to get like McDonald's, pizza, and there was something else. There was something else good. I think we got McDonald's twice a week. It was just like one day that you didn't really eat lunch and you just kind of ate out the vending machine. And then they started like switching that shit up.
That's not fucking legal.
Yeah. I mean, but hey, I'm not gonna turn down like a McChicken, you know, and shit like that, because it's better than what I was getting in middle school. So they started changing that shit up, and the things in our vending machine, like we started getting like sun chips and like baked everything and just like shit with no flavor. They took the sodas out, so now we don't have any, you know. So it's just like, you know, what the fuck. So I became real cool with this teacher, Mr. C, and he would give me the key to the teachers lounge, and I would go in there and basically just get like the candy. Yeah, I'd get the candy, I'd get the sodas. And so then what I started doing was I would go to the lunchroom, go to the lunch tables, be like, all right, I'm about to go to the vending machine. What do y'all want? Give me, you know, so they would pay me the money. I would take a little bit for myself for, you know, going through, and I would take somebody with me, and somebody would be the lookout because at first I would go in there and I would, you know, get stuff and everything would be fine. And then remember that teacher I was telling you about being a hard ass? She started like coming in and asking me like, oh, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm just getting something for Mr. C. And she started like getting on him about it. So then after that, I had to start being a little more sneaky because I didn't want to
Discreet.
get him in trouble. Yeah. So exactly. So I would get somebody to be a lookout, and I would go in to the break room, and the lights would be out. So I'm having to operate in the dark. And I would get everybody shit, and then we'd haul ass, downstairs to get to the cafeteria. And so that was basically my routine, and it was a nice little side hustle too, because they're basically paying for my food and a little bit extra, so it worked out for me.
Yeah.
And so this one bitch, we'll call her M. She started she was just so fucking oblivious. It made no sense. She would just go up to him and just be like, "Can I get the key to the da-da-da?" And I'm like, "Bitch, like what are you doing right now? What are you like?" It was terrible. It was terrible. So she kind of ruined that. He was still on the low, give me the key, but
he's like, don't be giving shit to other people.
I was still able to do that. I don't know what her deal was. She just heard that I was doing it. I never gave her anything. You know what I mean? So it was just like I said, she wasn't all the way there anyway. So
she probably thought well, if she's able to get it, so am I.
Yeah. So she wasn't all the way there. So yeah. So I was upset when Mr. C had to go, when they fired him. I was really, really upset. He was super chill, super cool.
Why'd they fire him? So why do you think they fired him?
This was the time where it was the purge. Nobody was safe. Okay. They were some teachers were getting paid, getting overpaid, right? And the other teachers started to find out about that, and then budgeting, they had to get rid of some teachers. So it was just fucking chaos. It was chaos. Teachers didn't like the teachers because of it, and stuff like that. And I remember one of my teachers, Mr. F. He was one of my science teachers. It was funny. Things got so bad in his class that I would walk in, sit down, and crack a smirk to somebody who was my fellow class clown, and he'd just kick us the fuck out. And I was like, yo, we didn't even do anything. But he just knew. So it was one of those things. But on his way out,
he wasn't tolerating your badasses at all.
Yeah. We didn't do anything. We literally just looked at each other and smiled.
He never gave you a fucking. Yes, oh my god.
So then the next day after he pulled that shit, we're about to come in, and I tell him, and I'm like, yo, when we get in there, don't say anything to nobody, don't look at nobody, just go in there and put your head down, don't say nothing to him, nothing, we're just gonna fuck all y'all, right? Because we go into class and people are expecting us to do something, or so they're just waiting for it. So came in and we just put our heads straight down, or we was just because we were sitting across from each other. And he came in and he tried to apologize in a way, but I was just like, yo, fuck you, dude. Anyways, he got fired, and on his way out, I got a chance to see him as he was walking out the doors, and he had his shit in the box, and he was basically, I was like, oh, you're leaving, or I forget what I said, and he was like, yeah, basically yo, fuck this bullshit ass school, that ain't shit, it's going to hell anyways, blah blah blah, just very, very upset. I mean, as he should be, because he just got fired, or laid off, yeah. So everybody was he was only there for a year, he didn't even play out his whole entire year, because they got rid of him at the end of the year. So that was just about everybody was dropping left and right. And then I remember when the principal finally left, and all the teachers
that's
were.
That's how all right,
yeah,
this ship is been sank.
When at the end of class, all the teachers kind of they stand outside their doors, and they're talking across the hall to another teacher, or one will kind of mosey its way over to another doorway of another classroom or something like that. But when this dude left, bro, when he left, at the end of every class, teachers were just huddling up. They were just huddling up. Yeah. They were just making a beeline, just boom, all together, and then wait until the last second, and then dispersing at the when class had to start. So that's how you knew a storm was coming. And they made an announcement and told us that he's no longer our principal and blah blah blah. So I hear he was one of, and mind you, this is high school, and rumors get spread, and we're not all mature, so I don't know how much truth it was to this. It kind of makes sense as far as like the budgeting, but apparently like the dude who started the school and his right hand man who he made the principal were like basically stealing money, and that's why they couldn't like stay on budget.
Wait, what was the name of the school?
Pencader.
One more time.
Pencader. So Pencader charter high school. And the founder, if you look at the founder,
charter school.
Yeah. If you look up the founder, it's some dude. This dude was always red. Like, I don't understand why, but he was always red. It's some bald red dude with glasses. But
It has a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, it has a Wikipedia page. Nothing. It doesn't get like into any juicy details as far as what happens. It just tells you like there's financial problems, and we only have one like notable alumni, I think. And it's Jerome. And he went to the NFL for I think a season or two. And then I don't know what happened. I know he's not currently in there anymore, I don't think. But that's like the only person that actually somewhat did something that at least the Wikipedia knows about. I remember they somebody because it's wiki, so somebody edited it to add some other people in there that but for the most part the wiki's pretty bare. They don't go into details as far as like what happened.
Man, so it's
but every year they're basically threatening to close down. Like my senior year, they were like, I know you guys are graduating, but can you come down to Dover and like basically plead with us to the people down there to keep the school open? I'm like, yeah, nah, fuck y'all. Like, I'm done with you. Like, I got what I needed from you, which was a fucking diploma.
So I just looked at some articles, and
please, there's some crazy articles. There's an article about the dude. There was a news thingy after I graduated. Okay, so the new principal, right after I graduated, had a husband.
Mariah, my stepdad is listed in the article. This is back when he was Secretary of Education.
I'd believe it.
Oh my god!
That's one of the people that they wanted us to go and beg to keep the school open. Like I said, the new principal had a husband that was a math teacher there, and apparently he always had a anger problem, and he was always like, you would hear him yelling at kids. Like from my math teacher, my math room would share the wall. You would hear him like just going off on kids, on students. And apparently one time, somebody after I graduated, somebody like recorded, and it went viral. As far as Delaware is concerned, and it made the news.
Yeah, it went Delaware viral.
It went Delaware viral. And they basically got like a slap on the wrist about that. And then like I believe even that year they ended up closing down. But yeah, that dude, he was insane. He was insane. I remember this one time the principal, because like I said, he was married to the principal. She came in with a black eye.
What was his last name?
Lewis.
All right, so the principal of Pencader Charter High School, it says the principal is Steve Quimby.
Quimby was the math teacher.
Oh God.
Or was it no? He wasn't a math teacher. He was either a social studies teacher. I'm pretty sure I had him for social studies. The like I said, the last one was Miss Lewis.
And guess what? I just found him on Facebook. Friend. Let's see if he accepts. Oh my God, he's working at Wilmington Friends. He's working at.
Wait. Send that shit to me. Send me the thingy.
Oh my God, I'm sending it to you, right? I'm putting it. Put it in the Discord. Oh, hold on. Sorry, folks. Usually, oh my god. Sorry, folks. We apologize. We're going on a tangent. This is usually how things go.
Wait a second.
He went to the same. Oh my god, he went to the same college as my mom and dad.
Hold on, I'm still trying to.
Oh wait, no, they went to Frostburg. Never mind. What am I even talking about? Google has him listed as the principal.
That sounds. I think that's the red dude. Name's definitely familiar.
If they had one of the teachers listed as the principal,
I think it might be. Hold on. I'm a. I can't find the red dude. No, see, yeah, Quimby. I see him right here. No, he was my teacher. He was my what was it? World history? I think it was world history. He was my world history teacher. I have a picture of him right here. So yeah, I don't even know how the hell they said that he was the principal. When he was one of the teachers that was huddling up the year that the principal quit or ran away or whatever. The
so
teacher,
I found the Pencader High School Facebook page, and I'm guessing this for you would be a trip down memory lane.
Jeez.
Sent. Oh god.
Founder.
God.
Yeah, but
Alright, it says Penn. Oh man, so we have a principal in
the like I said, the last principal was Miss Lewis, and I remember she came into school one day with a black eye, and mind you, like I said, her husband is like constantly yelling at kids like all the fucking time, all the time. And so she's like, "Oh yeah, my husband did it, but it was when he was sleeping. He like rolled over and hit me." I was like, "Yeah, okay, a direct hit in your eye, like."
Sure, I believe that. Like, I believe the Alien 51 raid is gonna be successful.
Oh, tell me that's not her, bro. You aged like fucking milk. That can't be you. That's terrible. I don't know any of these fuckers. Especially like those younger ones. Like that was before. Like a lot of these are like before. So nobody in my era really wants to like remember.
So guess what I just found?
What?
A DOE Department of Education publication of the hearing on the matter of Pencader Business and Finance Charter High School, and it's like fucking 100. It's almost 100 pages long.
Yeah, I bet the only students that they
have an appendix. They have an appendix. They have an appendix. Oh my god!
I bet it's all the students, like the only students they could gather to like cry on the stand and just like please keep the school open.
Oh god! Yeah, and probably they bribed those children with like, we'll be able to get you actual food for lunch if you do this.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh yeah, our cafeteria. That's why we had to bring like food from the outside because we didn't have a kitchen, so they couldn't prepare food. We literally got like the prison food. You could only like microwave shit, and so how are you gonna microwave like a whole cafeteria of kids' food? Now, mind you, the cafeteria wasn't that big. The building, the original building used to be an office building. Okay, so that's why there's no kitchen or like no cooking. So you
Yeah,
got to
they
think
built this school on a fucking budget.
Yeah,
I'm
it's an
sorry.
office building cafeteria, so it's not like a huge thing. It's just
cramming an entire student body, and oh my god, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
and so that's why our food had to come like from McDonald's and shit like that. We also used to like have to like try to order food from the fucking from like different places like Capriati's, and we literally look like fucking runaway slaves, like trying to meet the delivery people like all the way out there, and without like
They wouldn't feed
whole
you.
fucking front of the school was made out of windows, and they were tinted, so you couldn't see like what teacher was actually like looking down at you and ready to like
Right your
pull up
ass
your
up.
fucking rifle of a phone and just like boom, pull the trigger and just snitch, and then like have somebody like meet you at the fucking front foyer as you came in. So like we're literally just like running and scurrying and just like dipping and dodging behind fucking cars and shit, and telling like the dude like, oh, don't pull up all the way to the front, like pull up to the side, because like we weren't allowed to order food, but like we didn't have any food.
They don't fucking feed you, and you're not allowed to order food. What in the entire hell?
We weren't allowed to order food.
What sense they give you guys? They give you guys a fucking PB&J for food, and
Yep.
oh my god.
Yep. So that was another thing. Honestly, the best thing that came out of that food was out of that school was the secretary, Mrs. Fields. God rest her soul. She was the best thing, absolute best thing that could have came out of that school. She was kind of like, if she wasn't like a mom to you, she was like a great aunt to you, and she ruled the school. Like it was what she said goes. Like I know like the founder dude, he would be around sometimes, and the principal, but she ruled with a Bible in one hand and one of those long ass thick walking sticks in the other one, ready to just like whack you from the front, like as you come through the door. So it's like, she didn't play, but she was so loving and understanding, and like she would go to the end of the earth to make sure that you were okay.
I'm picturing a big tranny woman who's talking.
She was actually really skinny.
Oh god.
But yeah, she was amazing. She was a sweetheart. She was awesome, and she didn't tell anybody she was sick. So this whole time, we're going to school and we're thinking like everything's fine and stuff. And then like after we graduate, we hear news that like Miss Fields died, and we're like, what? And so it definitely hit home when she passed away, because you could not tell that she was sick. I believe she had cancer, but you just couldn't tell. She put a smile on her face every day, and she went above and beyond like anything that was in her job description. So
she actually cared about being
every
being
single
an
last
educator.
one. Yes, every single last kid. There was not a teacher in there that cared more about people than about students more than Miss Phil did. Absolutely. So she was awesome. She was one of my skipping routes. So I would when I would skip class, she was one of the spots, like the main, and I'll just sit in the fucking one of the chairs there, because they had like these two chairs, but they had like a really high back, so you couldn't see who was sitting in it when you walked through the door from behind. And I would just like chill in there, and she wouldn't say anything. She knows I'm supposed to be in class somewhere, but she's not gonna say anything. But yeah, I usually did my run, and I would hop in other people's classes. And if the teacher was cool enough, like eventually they would kick me out. Like I would stay there for a good like 10 minutes, and then they'll just like, all right, go. So you find good three teachers that'll let you stay in their class for 10 to 15 minutes. Boom, that's a whole class period right there. So yeah, she was awesome though. And probably, like I said, the best thing that could have came from that school.
Oh god. All right, so before we continue, all right, I think we need to like maybe pivot topics a little bit, because
like I said, yeah, the stories from this place, man, you cannot make this shit up. Like it was definitely it was great while it lasted. I'll tell you that much. My diploma isn't really worth shit. I mean, it sounds good as long as people don't look up the high school. It sounds good. You know, I got a diploma from Penn Cater Charter Business and Financing High School. You know, it sounds amazing. You know, I'm pretty sure that's the place
where the leader of the school was a white collar criminal.
Yeah. But you know, when I put that on a fucking application, you know, you'll get some callbacks with that one.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man. Oh god. All right. We really need to step away from this because this is
yeah, it is a black hole. You go there, you're not coming out.
Oh god. All right. So, what do you want to talk about? Gay shit or weird shit?
Shit. I don't have a preference per se right now.
All right. So all right. So let's move on and maybe for a little bit chat about Wait, have you ordered food yet?
Not yet, but it's a click away, man. It's a click away.
Yeah. Let's
I'm gonna probably like DoorDash it or something, you know.
Yeah. DoorDash your food. Let me know when the food comes here, and we're gonna take a break, and then shoot the shit, and while you eat, and then we'll get back onto it after. But let's just moving on. Let's move on and tell a couple stories from our night jobs. Some weird shit. So
honestly, you got more stories than I do. For that, like I have my stories. Even the night shift. The night shift hasn't been crazier than when I was on the day shift at this job. The
you want shit talk FedEx?
Huh? What about FedEx?
You want to shit talk FedEx?
Oh, well, fuck FedEx. There's not much to really talk about with FedEx. I mean,
this motherfucker told you, why are you trying so hard?
Yeah.
Oh man.
After that, it was just like, yeah, you know what? Every day was like fuck FedEx day. We would come in, like I would rile up the employees and we're like, yo, it's fuck FedEx Friday. That's what it was. Fuck FedEx Fridays. Or we just didn't give a shit and just like kind of do whatever. So if you order through FedEx from last year, from February to August, and you notice that, you know, on Fridays or on the weekend, shit was always kind of fucked up in the Newcastle area, I would like to apologize right now for any mishaps. Because I'll tell you one thing, it was, after I stopped trying, I was done. I was done. Shit was never the same.
Man. So I'm gonna, you know what? I can probably share these stories much further down the line with other people, but we can't talk about your current place of employment because you work there still. So let's do something. So let me ask you this. Like, I remember you and I met in a computer programming class at Delaware Technical Community College.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you and I met in a programming class at Delaware Technical Community College. And I remember very distinctly when you started going. You were dating this one dude. Joe's fine. And then one day we're at a Chinese restaurant.
We were Tom. We were walking across with Tom. Yep. And
then you
said a lot about each other that day.
Yeah, and it was that day that all of Delaware breathed a sigh of relief that you were born a female. Because after that day began a sea of debauchery.
Absolutely.
Oh man, if you were half of the light skinned girls in Delaware would be pregnant if you were a man.
Yep. There's no.
So just for the listeners to understand, Mariah is gay.
Mm-hmm.
but like she's she's also not a like that's like she's gay in the sense of like that's what she fucks, but and that's what she dates, but outside of that, that's just it. That's just her preference.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I like I said, that day we learned a lot. I think T came out and he said he was bi, but it wasn't anything he was hiding. But I totally did not expect that, like at fucking all.
yeah,
At all.
you would think you think I would be the like
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
which is cool. It's fine, there's nothing, but I just didn't expect it. Like, I was like over here, like about to drop this bombshell, and then he's just like, oh, yeah, me too. And I'm just like, what? Okay. All right, man. But,
Right.
but yeah, you and him were one of the first in Delaware, besides the chick that I was somewhat talking to, at the time. But you two were the first ones in Delaware to kind of find that out. And I think that's kind of where we started bonding, because we had like a good enough relationship. We weren't like the bestest of friends at that
Yeah.
time, but we had a good
you
enough
and I can hold a
relationship that
rapport.
we could kind of like, we could kind of confide in each other about like shit that's going on. And then we kind of built off of that. So you would think it was, our love for like, technology or gaming
Nerdy shit, yeah.
or yeah, but that wasn't, you know what I
And
mean?
light skinned girls.
Yeah, that was not the case. It was just the fact that I could tell this dude everything and know that it's not going anywhere.
Right,
And
right.
you could do the same. So, yep. I remember laying that out, and then shortly after, I believe it was like maybe a couple of months, I had my one chick, my girlfriend, and
At the time.
yeah, at the time, and that was that.
To be
And
clear, at the time.
yes. And that was that. So, and things were cool. Things were good. Felt good. I never felt so alive. And it's been going ever since. So.
Yep. So, we flash forward from there. So we should also, for the record, show that you're also the daughter of two pastors.
Absolutely, yeah. So that makes things a little difficult, a little murky.
Right, but I
what-
mean, but what has that been like? It's like you've got the libido of a grade A fuckboy, but you're a lesbian, and the reason I say you're a lesbian is because you don't fuck with guys like that.
No, not at all. Yeah. So, I was dating somebody for a couple of months, and things were getting really serious to the point where I was like, I'm about to make some serious moves, and like something's got to give. I will say at the same time, I was not at the same time. I had taken a step back from everything, from my relationships, because like I said, I was dating this dude, and I had an encounter with a female, and that made me take this step back, like, whoa. Because it wasn't like something like, oh, whoa, like that was cool. Like, it was something I knew all along, but I never actually tried to pursue it. It was more of a just like kind of like pushing it down and keeping it down, keeping everything under wraps. And to the point where it happened, and I was just like, well, damn. So I took a break from that dude and trying to figure myself out. And things started heating up with the one girl. And it got to the
We're
point,
just gonna call her Taco Bell.
yeah. And it got to the point where I was ready to make a decision. I told myself I'd give myself to the end of the year. All of this unfolded in the beginning of August, And I told myself by the end of the year, I'm gonna have a decision of what I'm gonna do and where, like, what my life is gonna be like. And I decided to go with her, right? So did that.
And let the record show, I was not a fan of this girl by any means. Like, at this point, I like your current girl significantly more than like this chick, you know.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I was like, you were still a dear friend to me at the time, and you obviously weren't happy with this dude.
Yeah. It wasn't that I wasn't happy; is that I knew I could be happier, and that's what I always say. Like, it's not that I wasn't happy; it's just that I knew I could be
Your
happier.
happiness is paramount. You're
Exactly, because it's my life at the end of the day. And when you live, so long, like, pleasing others and making other people happy, it's like, at what point does it stop? At what point do you start living for yourself and being happy for yourself? And so that was really the fork. It wasn't like, oh, him or her. It was like, what are you going to be doing for the rest of your life? And so once I had to, like, kind of face that and say, like, nah, this is something that I've known since I was I think my first crush was second grade, and it was this, like, blue-eyed, freckled little girl, and, like, that I knew from that point.
And when was this?
Huh?
And when was this crush
I was
you
6
had?
years old. I was 7. I was in the second grade, so I had to be like 7. And it was in school. She was my was one of my classmates. So yeah, that was that. I decided, like I said, to kind of, like, be the happiest I could be with myself, and that at the time meant being with her. And so I did that. And I ended things with him, and things were good with me and him. You know what I mean? And so it kind of threw some flags for my mom. Just couldn't really figure out what it was, but knew that nothing I was saying really justified. Nothing I was saying really justified me making that decision. Whether it was like, oh, it's just like things
your
are
mother. She's a very intelligent
you know.
woman.
Oh,
I met your mom. She's a very intelligent woman. So
absolutely.
and she knows you. So
yep. It's very tough to pull in anything over her. So that was that, and I was dating the chick for a couple of months until we weren't anymore. And then that was that. I was single for a while. It was a short while. It was probably a couple of months until I made the best dare with you ever, best bet. And so between that time, when you made that bet with me, was the time my mom started putting things together and stuff like that, and I kind of just told her, like, what was going on. Oh, what had happened also, my mom caught me and Taco Bell together in a way, but not like super, like, she caught me behind her, kind of like giving her a massage or something. Like, my hands were over her, right? But honestly,
it was definitely something you wouldn't do for just a friend.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't, like, really rubbing her back. I think I might have been giving her a hug from the back, because I was kissing on her neck. I remember there was a mark that I left, and so like I was hugging her, like, make her feel better and stuff. And so that's what she kind of came into, was like removing my arms from a hug type thing. And so that kind of sparked some stuff, and she would ask me a question, and this was before I made my decision, and she was like, what's going on, like, and I deny it, like, no, like, no, it's nothing, no, like that's not me type thing. And then, like I said, by the springtime, I had told her, and that's when she started putting those pieces together about with Taco Bell, and about my current. And so yeah, that was that. And she took it better than I thought. She knew that I was very overwhelmed with a lot of different feelings and stuff like that. Fear being one of them, you know what I mean? Because you don't know how, somebody's going to really react to that. And parents are how they're going to react to that. And you always hear stories about, my parent reacted this way until, the very rare cases, the 0.3%, well, not yeah, they're more rare, but you see articles about and it's usually the guys. The guy will kill his son because his son said he was gay or something like that. But still, like you never know. And so there, like I said, I was very overwhelmed at the time, and she just hugged it out, and that was that. That was all she could do at that time. After that, she expressed to me her love for me, but her disapproval of my choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how her love for me will not support, that. And I mean, whatever. I can't, like I said, I can't please everybody. There's going to be people who are happy. There's going to be people who aren't. And we all know kind of where we stand with that. And so she knows. But she, she kind of, that's where she is. Now, I will say that she's been doing better. Besides like her flipping out a couple of weeks ago at a wedding. But besides that, she's been doing like better. Because even me personally, like my style of clothes has changed this summer. Something that she hasn't seen from last summer. Like, usually wintertime, like, everybody's kind of bundled up, everybody's kind of layered up. And so this, has been quite different, but she's she hasn't necessarily like said anything. So, like I said, she knows, that I am. She doesn't know about my current girlfriend, and it's not because like I just don't. When you live in a house with it, you don't feel like hearing anything like all the time and like stuff like that. So my thing is like the less interaction I have with her, especially about that situation in general. Don't get me wrong, I love my mom and I love spending time with her and stuff. But if I know that spending time with her is going to lead to something, then I have to avoid that. And if I know that, I tell her I have a girlfriend, and then every time I leave the house, she's thinking that I'm going to go see her or something like it's just unnecessary. So it's better off where I'm just like, no, I'm just chilling. I'm not seeing anybody. I'm just chilling, blah, 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 because I'm not going to date a dude. But then I also can't tell her that I'm dating her because I don't feel like hearing that. So that's where we're at. And things, like I said, things have like our relationship has gotten much better than what it was from last spring, and stuff like that. So that's that. Still kind of gotta walk on eggshells depending on certain stuff. You're always my cover up. If anything, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to Evans, or oh yeah, I'm doing that. Me and Evan, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And that's really that. So yeah.
Am I gonna have to cut all this shit out?
I mean, if she doesn't get a hold of the podcast,
I mean, and like the business side of me is like, yes, I want her family, her extended family, all her friends, all her clients, everybody to hear it. But at the same time, I'm just, well, you at the end of the day, it's your call. If you want this to go out, it can. And by that,
like I said, my mom isn't the type to sit there and listen to a podcast. My mom also isn't the type to sit there and listen to your podcast. The only way that
that hurt. That fucking hurt.
I mean, for being, but yeah. So we don't have any mutuals. You know what I mean? Nobody that knows. Who she is or anything like that. So, like I said,
for the record, I want to say it is a fucking miracle given Delaware as a state.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't, I don't know how many listeners you usually have on a regular and stuff like that. I know you are just starting out and everything, but like I said, I doubt that one listener will be like, I know exactly who the fuck they're talking about, you know.
Yeah. How
Eureka.
about how about your pops? Was he?
He has no idea.
You don't know.
As far as I'm concerned, like as far as I know, and that's another thing about my mom. She hasn't told him. You know.
I'm not gonna lie. I would wager that your pops is gonna have less of an issue than your mom.
You would think so, but when
Right,
I got my
because
first
you got to
tattoo,
remember he's your stepdad. You know, he loves you to, like, regardless of who, like, that you're not that you're blood related to him or not. You know, so that's a different kind of.
no, absolutely. I don't question his love for me. I will say though, like I recently got a couple of tattoos, and the first one that he saw, I told
Not
my
too
mom,
thrilled.
huh?
Not too thrilled.
Yeah. When I was dating somebody who had a lot of tattoos, I would tell her like, yeah, like one of these, like I'm gonna get one, stuff like that, and she was like, and I was like, don't worry, I'll tell you when I get it. My brother, was like deathly afraid of my parents and like how strict they were, because he was the oldest in our household, and so they were more
Doesn't he
strict.
have? Doesn't he like have a? And you know what? Never mind. Not even gonna say it.
Yeah, he was the older one, so things were a little bit more strict for him and stuff, and he just doesn't know how to handle things as well as I do, I believe. And so they didn't know. He would hide his tattoos. He would like get them all on like his chest area, or like somewhere, like if it was high enough he wouldn't be able to wear like tank tops or stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, it's hot as hell. If I want to wear a tank top, I want to wear a tank top. Like, I don't want to have to walk around with a fucking turtleneck in the summertime to hide my tattoos from my parents. And
Right.
so but that's
Also, you're a grown ass woman, and they're
yeah,
permanent.
and so but that's what he would do. He would get them in places where he couldn't see if he didn't have like if he had a shirt on. And so it was when his appendix was about to rupture, and he was in the hospital, and they had to do surgery, and they were in the room, and that's basically when they found out. Mind you, by this time he had moved out. He was grown. He had what is now his wife, and a kid. So it was like he was still hiding this shit, and he wasn't even in the house anymore. You know what I mean? And I refused to like have to go through that. Like, so I told my mom, like I said, I told her like when I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna hide that shit. Like I'm gonna tell you. And so that's what I did. So I didn't tell her the day that I was getting it, but the day after I got it, I showed her. I was like, so I got a tattoo, and she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, let me see. And so I showed it to her, and she
You
was
don't
just
get,
like,
and let the record show, like, you don't like, and you are not an outland. You don't do any outlandish shit, like, at all.
yeah, no,
Like,
no.
you're not a scandalous
I'll
person whatsoever.
occasionally
You
drink
keep your head
when
low.
when I go out, but I'm not doing no crazy ass shit out here. I got multiple jobs. I go to my jobs. I got a girlfriend. I do that, and I got a couple of best friends, and that's really where my time is being spread out to.
Yeah,
So,
and even if you're in a location where some weird shit's about to go down, you hang
I'm
with.
the bystander that's laughing at that shit. Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Right.
never
Yeah,
like taking part of anything.
you and the people you consider friends or family all have a little spidey sense in the back of their head of shit's about to get weird. Let's bounce.
Absolutely.
Right.
So yeah, so I stay out of trouble, basically, is where he's getting at. And so for me to like come home with the tattoo and stuff, like I said, she was really chill. And she was just like, wait till your father sees, type thing. And that was that. There was no reprimanding. There was no like, oh, in the Bible it says, like, none of that. She was just like, like, ha. Granted, like when my pop saw it, the first time he saw it, but he thought it was a pen. And then we were outside a church building, and I had it because it's on my hand. Both of them are on my hands. And so he saw one of them, and he was just like, "Is that a tattoo?" And I just kind of looked at him and was like, and I was like, "Yeah, so I gotta go. Gotta take him." I had just
You didn't even try to hold up. You fucking ran, coward.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, like I just looked at him and laughed because we were already about to go our separate ways to like go somewhere. And so then like as he's walking away, as he's walking to my mom because they were riding in the same car, and I could hear him saying like, "That's a tattoo," and that was that. So my mom probably like kind of talked him down from it, basically because he didn't know that she knew. Because anything that really happens with me, I give my mom that. Like, she doesn't go running and telling my pop. Like, if he finds out, he finds out. But you know, it stays between us. She kind of wanted to set that foundation that she can like tell me I can tell her anything in a way without feeling like it'll get out to other people and stuff like that. So even as far as the tattoo, she didn't tell him or anything. It just kind of happened. And that was the last I heard from him. So So yeah, things have been like pretty chill for the most part, and that's where that is.
Oh my god! So back on the we're on the timeline. You make your decision.
Yep.
You're with Taco Bell for X amount of time. Why does that relationship end?
Shit. I'm still asking that question. It was one of those type of things like
I know the fault doesn't come with you, but let's just have a little tea and air some and just
yeah. No, like I said, it things were good. Her family, her mother, to be specific, wasn't
certainly less accepting than your family.
Absolutely. And she was determined to make sure that her daughter ended up with a specific guy that she had in mind already, that she was from a different country. So they basically kind of picked this guy from when they were young kids and teenagers, you know what I mean, kind of grooming them to be together. And so before she had came to America, they were dating in that country. And so they never really stopped technically dating. It was more of that Skype shit, but it's like, we all know what that means. That means you go fuck around, do what the hell you want, as long as you're blowing a kiss to a camera, before you go to sleep. And so that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
So her, like I said, everything was fine. She went back to her home country. She goes there every year for her mom's birthday, which is in the beginning of January. And so they're usually gone the New Year's and stuff like that. And everything was fine before she left. And by the time she got back, she was acting very different. And I once things had ended, I kind of put things together. I never really asked her, outright, like, oh, does this what happened? But I'm assuming that when she went to Dominican Republic, well, I just kind of put that out there. But when she went there, she got
people getting poisoned there all the time. It's not the worst thing that's happened in the DR.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and shameless plug for a second. If you go to www.HIMediaMarketplace.com, under our catalog, we have a I Escaped the Dominican Republic poison-free t-shirt for sale now for $15. Shameless plug over. Continue.
Yep. And so went there. She went there, and I'm pretty sure he probably proposed to her while they were there. Because like I said, by the time she got back, she was acting very different. And not like she wanted to, but like she had to. And so we had broken up before, but it wasn't like a real breakup. And she broke up with me, but then she was like, "Yo, no, it was a mistake. Like, no, that's not what I want." And so I was thinking like it was like maybe one of those things, like maybe her mom spooked her, like while they were like over there and stuff like that. But this one, it wasn't gonna. There wasn't like gonna be a bounce back. Yeah, like a real bounce back from this. So That was that. We still stayed in touch for the most part. There was a part, yeah, that was really that. And so I was single and I had a chip on my shoulder, and I was at the point where I just wanted to fuck over anybody that was walking like in my path. Just because that's what happens. Hurt people. So
So then we're at with Waffle House at the time.
I forgot. Oh yeah, I forgot about Waffle House. Yeah, no, Waffle House.
And then there was Olive Garden at FedEx.
Oh yeah. Yep. So yep,
But
all
then,
these.
but then over time, you settled on your current girl.
Yep. That
And the only reason I'm not saying what we called her. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so yeah, I was single for a couple of months. I was dating here and there, nothing like too serious, just like girls, they like me, they're into me, whatever it may be, whatever it is about me, that's their thing. And so it's common for me to like, when I'm single, of course, like getting people's numbers or like, being more flirtatious than usual and stuff like that. And
Flirtatious my ass. You were on some manho shit.
yeah, no. There's some, and there was some where I kind of wanted it to work out, a little differently, and then others, I knew I was just doing it to have a good time. And so then in the springtime, we were at Deltec, and you had made a bet with me. And
Well, I mean, first off, like I think, like correct my memory. I did a introduction to Naomi for you without actually like introducing you to her.
Yeah.
Oh, I name dropped. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, no. There was an introduction, but this was months ago. It was months before we.
Right.
And it was a brief introduction. She was sitting at the table by herself at the time, and she had like her headphones over, and she was like on her computer, and we had a conversation. I don't remember what that conversation was about, but we had a brief conversation. She knew who. She didn't know who I was because, like I said, you guys talked. You guys were acquaintances. Before me, of course. So she didn't know who I was because I have this conversation with her, and she hates it when I bring it up that I remember our first meeting. And it's funny that you say that because she said she's going to listen to this podcast, and then boom, you are my second proof that I was introduced to her, but she doesn't remember it. And so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in her defense, me and her have never had a positive relationship.
Yeah, I'll give her that, but
so it's like if I introduce
you can't defend her too much because she'll go on and on about like, oh, like how good I look and blah 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 and all that stuff, and I was like, well, I couldn't have looked that good if you didn't remember the first time you saw me.
Right, but I feel like because she wasn't a huge fan.
She might have been in defense mode. Yeah, she might have saw you coming and went into like, because like I said, she did have her headphones in, she was on her computer, so she might have been in defense mode. Right. But I do know that conversation we were talking. I made her laugh a couple of times. So like I said, if she forgot who I was, that's on her, and she will have to live with that forever.
Or no, she's not going to have to live with it forever. You're going to hold it over her head forever.
Absolutely, because you have to.
But are you happy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Like I said, we back to the bet. We had you had. She knows about the bet.
I know she knows about the bet, but it's like it got to the point where it's like I want you to win just because just to know she was like bullshitting, It's like
so it starts off. We won't go into the full details of it, but it's basically he was saying how there was
no.
Listen. There's this one chick.
You'll censor it better than me.
Yeah, there's this one chick that everybody in his friend group at least tried at least once to try to get with her, and these are dudes speaking. She's bi, but as far like he doesn't, you don't have much guy friends that you like really hang. I mean, girlfriends that you really hang around. So all of his guy friends, all shot their shot, and nothing
All
stuck,
blew it.
nothing landed.
All blew it.
Yeah. So that's where the nature of the bet kind of came from. And he was like, "You can't," and I was just like, "What?" And so I think it was like $50, right? And
No, it was 100. It was 100. It was 100.
You sure? Because I'm pretty sure it was 50. I think you started with 100, and then you're like, no, 50. And I was like, all right.
No, I remember I committed to 100 because I knew because I was 95% sure I was right.
You were very confident, and I will say, because the things that come out of your mouth are like you said, 95% accurate. There's not a lot of things that you tell me or you say that don't have solid
merit.
Yeah, exactly. So
and
I also know how frugal you are, so $100, that's a big, you're not about to just give up, $100. Like you knew that it was happening. So I will say, like, going into it like that, those things right there, the fact that you were saying it, and then the fact that
and she had I had seen her parry every single scumbag very effectively. But the one thing I had not seen was a female scumbag do it.
So that's, like I said, that's where the nature of the bet came from, and it was more of a like, okay, challenge accepted. I think we made the bet walking away one day, and then I don't know if it was the next day or like a couple of days, I don't know. The next time that we were all together, like, well, that she was there too, got her number, right? Now, in her eyes, she's like, oh, she got my number, but it's like, there's nothing, like, I knew exactly what the fuck I was doing. So, after that, we started talking a while, and kind of like history was forming. History was, being made right there. It started getting to the point where we basically just kind of called off the bet, because at this point you didn't want to lose $100, and then for me it was like, it's more than a bet. So nobody got the $100 at the end of the day,
because everybody won in their own small way.
Absolutely. So it was, that's where it was, and that's where it's been, and everything's been pretty smooth sailing so far. I will say she did break up with me for a day. But after that, like, everything's fine too. I had it coming. It was worth it. Like, everybody needs to break up with me at some point, I feel like, with some of the shit that I pull. But no, everything's good and on the right path. And so she's happy, I'm happy, and that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah. And I mean, it given the state of my love life, it enheartens me that the people close to me are happy. It's a small sliver of happiness in a world of just bleak sadness.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
On that, I will say this. On that happy note, it's currently 9:30. We started doing this at what? 7:30-ish?
No. It was about 7:50.
7:50. We've been on for about an hour and a half. So you wanna wrap up, or you wanna go a little bit longer?
Oh, we could wrap up. I'm not going anywhere. So if we need a part two, then
you and me can just quit recording and just shift over to the end game, where we can talk about all the little things that should not be public knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we did pretty good this time around.
As do I. So on that happy note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the High Soapbox. have a lovely rest of your evening, and we'll see you in the next one.
For a sec.